In a cozy, single-story home nestled in the quiet suburbs of Seattle, 35-year-old Emily Brown sat at the kitchen table, helping her 10-year-old daughter, Lily, with her homework. The late afternoon sun streamed through the window, casting a golden rectangle across the hardwood floor. The warmth of the light contrasted with the exhaustion weighing on Emily's shoulders. As a fourth-grade English teacher at the local elementary school, her days were long, filled with lesson plans, grading, and the endless demands of nurturing young minds. But it was her role as a single mother that truly tested her strength. Since her divorce from Nate 5 years ago, Emily had been raising Lily alone, pouring every ounce of her heart into shielding her sensitive daughter from the world's harsh edges. Lily's blue eyes, wide and earnest, flickered with a mix of curiosity and caution as she pushed her math notebook toward her mother. "Mom, is this right?" she asked, her voice soft but tinged with the need for approval. Emily scanned the neat rows of multiplication problems, her lips curving into a tired but genuine smile. "Perfect, Lily. You're getting the hang of this." She ruffled her daughter's chestnut hair, savoring the fleeting moment of connection. "Now, just the science worksheet for tomorrow, and we're done." Emily's life hadn't always been this quiet. 5 years ago, her world had shattered when Nate, her high school sweetheart, left her for a new life in Portland. He traded their modest family for a flashy new wife and a baby on the way, leaving Emily to pick up the pieces. Nate's visits with Lily were sporadic, too, maybe 3 times a year, and each one left Lily quieter, her eyes dimmer. Emily had learned to fill the gaps, to be both mother and father, but the weight of it all sometimes felt like a stone in her chest. The sharp trill of the phone broke the stillness, startling Emily. She glanced at the screen, an unknown number. Her stomach twisted with an inexplicable sense of foreboding. "Hello?" she answered, her voice cautious. "Oh my God, you won't believe this." The voice on the other end was unmistakably her younger sister, Caitlin, brimming with an excitement Emily hadn't heard in months. They hadn't spoken since Christmas, when Caitlin's fleeting visit had left Emily feeling like an afterthought. "I'm engaged. To Trevor Kingston." "Yes, the Trevor Kingston, heir to Kingston Enterprises." Emily's breath caught. The Kingstons were practically royalty on the West Coast, their names synonymous with wealth and influence. Caitlin had always chased the spotlight, and now, at 29, she'd landed the ultimate prize. "That's incredible, Caitlin," Emily managed, her voice steady despite the sudden tightness in her chest. "Congratulations. You're shocked, right?" "I mean, who wouldn't be?" Caitlin's laugh was bright, almost too bright. "We're having the wedding next month at the Kingston estate on the Oregon coast. It's going to be huge, 3 days, 500 guests, the works. I've already sent the invitation. You and Lily have to come." Emily's gaze drifted to Lily, who was now doodling in the margins of her notebook, oblivious to the conversation. Lily loved her Aunt Caitlin, even if their time together was rare. A wedding could be a chance for her to feel part of something bigger, to connect with family in a way Emily's fractured past rarely allowed. But the thought of stepping into Caitlin's glittering world stirred a familiar unease. Growing up, Emily had always been the quiet one, the boring one, while Caitlin was their mother Sylvia's golden child, vivacious, charming, and destined for greatness. Sylvia's voice still echoed in Emily's mind. "Why can't you be more like Caitlin, Emily? She knows how to shine." You there?" Caitlin's voice snapped her back. "You're coming, right? I mean, it's family. Trevor's mom, Constance, is dying to meet Lily. She's all about family values." Emily hesitated. I'll check my schedule. School's busy, and Lily has classes." "School can wait," Caitlin cut in, her tone sharpening just enough to sting. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, Em. Don't let me down." After the call ended, Emily sank into a chair, her mind racing. She glanced at the invitation that had arrived that morning, its gold-embossed lettering glinting under the kitchen light. It promised a 3-day extravaganza at the Kingston estate, complete with a ceremony overlooking the Pacific. But tucked inside was a handwritten note from Sylvia. "Emily, this is a chance to show the Kingstons we're a respectable family. Don't embarrass us." The words hit like a slap. Emily's relationship with her mother had always been strained, a battlefield of unspoken expectations and subtle criticisms. Sylvia had never approved of Emily's small life, her teaching career, her modest home, her failed marriage. Caitlin, on the other hand, was the daughter who could do no wrong, her every achievement a trophy in Sylvia's cabinet. "Mom, was that Aunt Caitlin?" Lily's voice broke through Emily's thoughts. She looked up from her doodles, her face bright with curiosity. Yeah, sweetheart. She's getting married. Emily forced a smile. The invitation's here. It's going to be a big party. Lily's eyes sparkled. Can we go? Please? I've never been to a real wedding. Seeing her daughter's excitement, Emily's heart ached. Lily deserved moments of joy, moments to feel connected to a family that often felt out of reach. But Emily couldn't shake the feeling that this wedding would be more than a celebration. It would be a test of her strength, her patience, and her ability to protect Lily from the shadows of her own past. I'll think about it, Emily said softly, but her mind was already made up. She'd go for Lily's sake. And maybe, just maybe, she'd finally prove to herself that she was enough. That night, as Emily tucked Lily into bed, she found an old photo in a drawer, a snapshot of her and Caitlin as kids, laughing at a family picnic. Tucked behind it was a letter from Sylvia, written years ago after Emily's divorce. You've always been a disappointment, Emily. Don't let Lily become one too. The words burned, fueling a quiet resolve. This wedding wouldn't just be about family, it would be about reclaiming her dignity. The Kingston estate on Oregon's rugged coast was a vision of opulence, its sprawling grounds kissed by the salty breeze of the Pacific. As Emily Brown and her 10-year-old daughter, Lily, stepped out of their rental car, the late afternoon sun glinted off the mansion's glass walls, casting prisms of light across manicured lawns. Guests in tailored suits and shimmering gowns flowed toward the main garden, where a pre-wedding cocktail hour was underway. Emily smoothed the skirt of her modest navy dress, feeling like an outsider in a world of wealth. Lily, clutching her sketchbook, gazed wide-eyed at the towering floral arches and the distant crash of waves. Mom, it's like a castle, Lily whispered, her voice trembling with awe. Emily squeezed her daughter's hand, forcing a smile. It's pretty special, isn't it? Let's find Aunt Caitlin. But inside, her stomach churned. The weight of her mother Sylvia's note, "Don't embarrass us," hung over her like a storm cloud. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a stage, and Emily feared she and Lily were unwitting players in a drama she didn't yet understand. They navigated through clusters of guests, the air thick with laughter and the clink of champagne flutes. Emily spotted Caitlin near a fountain, radiant in a cream silk dress that hugged her frame. Her younger sister's auburn hair cascaded in perfect waves, and her smile was dazzling as she chatted with a group of well-dressed strangers. Sylvia stood beside her, dripping in pearls, her posture regal. When Caitlin's eyes met Emily's, her smile faltered for a split second before blooming again. Lily. Caitlin swept forward, enveloping Lily in a hug that felt more performative than warm. You made it. God, you look cozy, she said, her gaze flicking over Emily's dress with a hint of pity. Sylvia approached, her lips pursed. Emily, you're late. The Kingstons value punctuality. Her tone was sharp, a reminder of years spent under her critical eye. I'm sorry, Mom. Traffic, Emily murmured, swallowing the urge to snap back. Lily clung to her side, sensing the tension. Sylvia's attention shifted to her granddaughter, her expression softening. Lily, darling, you're growing so fast. You'll steal the show tomorrow. The words sounded affectionate, but Emily caught the calculating glint in her mother's eyes. Before Emily could respond, a woman approached, her silver hair swept into an elegant chignon. You must be Emily, she said warmly, extending a hand. I'm Constance Kingston, Trevor's mother. Her smile was genuine, and her hazel eyes sparkled with kindness. And this is Lily? Caitlin's told me about your drawings. I'd love to see them sometime. Lily blushed, clutching her sketchbook tighter. Thank you, Mrs. Kingston. I draw animals mostly. Constance knelt to Lily's level, her voice gentle. I bet they're wonderful. We have a garden full of inspiration here. Maybe you'll sketch something for us. Lily nodded shyly, and Emily felt a flicker of relief. Maybe not everyone here was like her family. The evening progressed with a rehearsal dinner under a canopy of fairy lights. Emily and Lily were seated at a family table, surrounded by Caitlin's laughter and Sylvia's endless anecdotes about her perfect daughter. Emily sipped her wine, trying to ignore the subtle jabs, Sylvia's comment about her simple teaching job, Caitlin's offhand remark about how not everyone can handle the spotlight. Lily, meanwhile, doodled quietly, her unease growing with each passing minute. As dessert was served, Caitlin stood, tapping her glass with a spoon. The room quieted, all eyes on her. I just want to say how thrilled I am to join the Kingston family, she began, her voice honeyed. And tomorrow, we'll have a special moment to celebrate family talent. Lily, my amazing niece, is going to share her art with us. Won't that be fun? Lily froze, her pencil slipping from her fingers. Emily's heart sank. Lily hated performing in front of others. Her anxiety flared even at school presentations. Caitlin, she didn't prepare anything, Emily said, her voice low but firm. Caitlin waved a hand dismissively. Oh, don't be so serious. Lily's a natural. Right, sweetheart? Lily's eyes filled with panic, and Emily's protective instincts surged. She's not comfortable with that, she insisted, but Sylvia leaned in, her voice icy. Emily, don't make a scene. This is Caitlin's day. Let Lily contribute. The table went silent, the weight of Sylvia's authority stifling. Emily's cheeks burned, but she nodded, not wanting to upset Lily further. Later, as guests dispersed, Emily and Lily retreated to their guest suite. Lily curled up on the bed, her sketchbook abandoned. Do I have to draw in front of everyone? She whispered, her voice trembling. Emily sat beside her, stroking her hair. I'll talk to Aunt Caitlin, okay? You don't have to do anything you don't want to. But Lily's small nod didn't erase the fear in her eyes. Unable to sleep, Emily slipped into the hallway, needing air. As she passed a dimly lit lounge, she overheard voices Caitlin and Sylvia, their words sharp and conspiratorial. If Lily freezes up, it'll show everyone Emily's not cut out for this world, Caitlin said, her tone gleeful. Sylvia chuckled. Exactly. The Kingstons will see who really belongs in their circle. Emily's blood ran cold. This wasn't just a thoughtless request. It was a calculated plan to humiliate Lily, to elevate Caitlin by tearing Emily down. Her hands clenched into fists, rage and fear warring within her. She'd spent years enduring her family's disdain, but dragging her daughter into their games was a line too far. Back in her room, Emily found Lily awake, clutching a crumpled drawing of a bird. I heard them, Mom, Lily whispered, tears streaking her face. They want me to fail. Emily's heart broke, but a fire ignited within her. She pulled Lily close, whispering, We're stronger than they think. Tomorrow, we'll show them who we are. For the first time, Emily resolved not just to survive the wedding, but to fight back, on her own terms. The morning of the wedding dawned over the Kingston estate, the Pacific Ocean shimmering like a sheet of glass under a cloudless sky. Inside the glass-walled chapel, adorned with cascading orchids and soft ivory drapes, the air buzzed with anticipation. Emily Brown sat in the front row, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, the weight of last night's revelation pressing against her chest. Her 10-year-old daughter, Lily, sat beside her, radiant in a lilac dress but visibly tense, her fingers nervously twisting the hem of her skirt. The memory of Caitlin and Sylvia's cruel plan, to humiliate Lily in front of hundreds, burned in Emily's mind, fueling a quiet resolve. She wouldn't let them break her daughter. The chapel filled with guests, their designer outfits a stark contrast to Emily's simple sage green dress. She caught glimpses of her parents, Sylvia, resplendent in a pearl-encrusted gown, and her father, Richard, stoic in a tailored suit. Sylvia's eyes flicked toward Emily, her expression a mix of expectation and disdain. Emily forced a neutral smile, her mind racing. She'd spent the night strategizing, determined to protect Lily without causing a scene that could scar her daughter further. But the clock was ticking, and Caitlin's trap loomed. The ceremony began with a swell of organ music, and the bridesmaids glided down the aisle, their dresses a soft blush pink. Caitlin entered last, a vision in a crystal-encrusted gown that caught the sunlight like a prism. Her face glowed with triumph as she walked arm in arm with Richard, every step calculated to dazzle. Emily's heart softened for a moment. Her sister looked genuinely happy, and despite their fractured past, she wanted to believe in Caitlin's joy. Lily leaned close, whispering, She's like a princess, Mom. Emily nodded, stroking her daughter's hair. She is, sweetheart. Trevor Kingston stood at the altar, tall and composed, his dark eyes warm as he watched Caitlin approach. Their vows were heartfelt, his voice steady as he promised to love and honor her. The guests sighed in unison, swept up in the romance. For a fleeting moment, Emily let herself feel the beauty of it all, the promise of new beginnings. But as the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, her gaze shifted to Caitlin, who caught her eye and smirked, a subtle, chilling reminder of what was coming. The reception unfolded in a sprawling garden, where tables draped in white linen sparkled with crystal centerpieces. Champagne flowed, and a jazz band filled the air with sultry melodies. Emily and Lily were seated at the family table, surrounded by Sylvia's forced pleasantries and the curious gazes of the Kingston relatives. Constance Kingston, Trevor's mother, leaned over to Lily, her voice kind. I brought a sketch pad for you, dear. Maybe you'll draw something inspired by today. Lily managed a shy smile, but Emily saw the fear in her eyes. The trap was closing in. Halfway through the meal, Caitlin rose, her glass raised, and took the microphone. The crowd hushed, drawn to her magnetic presence. "Thank you all for celebrating this perfect day with us," she said, her voice dripping with charm. "But what's a wedding without a little family magic? My niece, Lily, is a budding artist, and she's prepared a special surprise for you all." She gestured toward Lily, her smile wide but her eyes cold. The guests clapped, turning expectantly to the girl. Lily's face drained of color, her hands trembling. Emily's pulse raced. She'd hoped to intervene before this moment, but Caitlin had moved too quickly. "Caitlin, Lily isn't ready," Emily said, standing, her voice firm but controlled. Caitlin laughed lightly, waving off the objection. "Oh, don't be so protective. Lily's a star. Come on, sweetheart, show them what you've got." The crowd's attention pinned Lily to her seat, their murmurs growing louder. Emily saw the panic in her daughter's eyes, the same fear she'd felt as a child under Sylvia's scrutiny. "She's not doing this," Emily said, louder now, but Sylvia grabbed her arm, hissing, "Don't ruin this, Emily. It's for the family." The word family stung, a reminder of years spent feeling like an outsider in her own. Lily, trembling, stood, her small voice barely audible. I can try." Emily's heart shattered. She knew Lily was doing this to please her aunt, to avoid disappointing the family. Caitlin led her to a small stage where an easel and markers waited, the setup deliberately public. "Just draw something, anything," Caitlin said sweetly, but her tone carried a challenge. Lily picked up a marker, her hand shaking as she touched the paper. The crowd watched, some smiling, others whispering. Her first line wobbled, and then, in her nervousness, she tore the paper with a loud rip. A ripple of laughter spread through the guests. Sylvia sighed audibly, muttering, "Such a clumsy child." Lily's eyes filled with tears, and she dropped the marker, her shoulders hunching as if to shrink from the world. Emily surged forward, desperate to reach her, but Caitlin blocked her path, whispering, "Let her finish, Em. It's just a bit of fun." The word fun was a knife, twisting in Emily's chest. Lily bolted from the stage, her sobs echoing as she ran toward the garden's edge. Emily shoved past Caitlin, her vision blurring with rage and fear. She found Lily curled up behind a rosebush, her face buried in her knees. "I'm sorry, Mom," Lily choked out. "I ruined everything." Emily knelt, pulling her daughter into her arms. "You didn't ruin anything, baby. They did this, not you." As Emily comforted Lily, a shadow fell over them. Trevor Kingston stood there, his face a storm of confusion and anger. "What the hell just happened?" he demanded, his voice low. Emily looked up, her resolve hardening. "My sister and mother set Lily up to fail. They wanted to humiliate her, to make me look unfit in front of your family." Trevor's jaw tightened, his eyes narrowing as he processed her words. He glanced at Lily, whose tear-streaked face told him everything he needed to know. Trevor crouched beside Lily, his voice gentle but firm. "You're braver than they are, Lily. And I'm going to make this right." He stood, turning to Emily. "Stay with her. I need to talk to my family." As he strode back to the reception, Emily saw a fire in his eyes, a promise of justice. For the first time, she felt a spark of hope that she wasn't fighting alone. The reception garden at the Kingston estate was a tableau of opulence, its white-clothed tables gleaming under the soft glow of chandeliers strung between ancient oaks. The jazz band played on, but a tense hush had settled over the crowd after Lily's tearful exit from the stage. Emily Brown knelt beside her 10-year-old daughter in the shadow of a rosebush, wiping tears from Lily's flushed cheeks. "You're safe now, sweetheart," Emily whispered, her voice steady despite the storm of anger and fear raging inside her. Lily's small body trembled, her lilac dress smudged with dirt, but she nodded, clinging to her mother's hand. The sting of Caitlin's betrayal and Sylvia's complicity burned in Emily's chest, but Trevor Kingston's promise to make this right flickered like a beacon in her mind. As Emily helped Lily to her feet, Trevor's voice boomed across the garden, amplified by the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, please, a moment." The music stopped abruptly, and every head turned toward the stage. Trevor stood tall, his dark suit impeccable but his expression a mask of controlled fury. Emily guided Lily back toward the crowd, staying at the edge, her heart pounding. She caught sight of Caitlin, her sister's radiant smile faltering, and Sylvia, whose pearl-clad composure cracked with a flash of panic. "I've just witnessed something that shakes me to my core," Trevor began, his voice low but resonant, carrying over the silent guests. "My wife," he paused, the word heavy, "and her mother orchestrated a cruel stunt to humiliate a 10-year-old girl, my niece, Lily, for their own gain." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Caitlin rushed toward the stage, her white gown trailing like a ghost. "Trevor, it was a misunderstanding," she cried, her voice shrill. "Just a little fun." Trevor's eyes narrowed, unyielding. "Fun? Forcing a child to perform, knowing she'd falter, so you could shine brighter? That's not fun, Caitlin. That's cruelty." The word hung in the air, sharp and undeniable. Emily's grip on Lily tightened, her daughter's small frame still shaking, but her eyes fixed on Trevor, wide with awe. The guests shifted uncomfortably, their murmurs growing as the facade of the perfect wedding crumbled. Constance Kingston, Trevor's mother, ascended the stage, her silver hair glinting under the lights. Her face was a study in quiet authority, her hazel eyes blazing with disapproval. "The Kingston family stands for integrity and compassion," she said, her voice cutting through the tension. "What we saw today is an affront to those values. This wedding cannot proceed as planned." The crowd erupted in whispers, some guests exchanging shocked glances, others nodding in grim agreement. Caitlin's face drained of color. "You can't do this," she shrieked, turning to Sylvia, who stood frozen at the family table. "Mom, say something." Sylvia rose, her voice trembling with indignation. "This is absurd. It was a harmless prank. Lily's fine, aren't you, dear?" She gestured toward Lily, her smile forced. But Lily shrank against Emily, her silence a louder rebuke than words. Trevor stepped forward, his gaze locking onto Caitlin. "You used a child to prop up your ego, and you expected me to stand by you? I thought I knew you, Caitlin, but today I saw the truth." He removed his boutonniere, letting it fall to the stage, a quiet but devastating gesture. "This marriage is over before it began." The crowd gasped again, the air thick with shock. Caitlin's hands flew to her face, tears streaking her makeup, but her eyes darted to the guests, calculating the damage to her image. Constance turned to the audience, her tone resolute. "We apologize for the disruption. Please, enjoy the refreshments, but the formalities are concluded." She stepped off the stage, her husband, Edward, joining her, his stern expression mirroring her resolve. Guests began to rise, some heading for the exits, others lingering in stunned disbelief. Sylvia grabbed Caitlin's arm, hissing, "You've ruined everything." But Caitlin yanked away, her sobs echoing as she fled toward the mansion. Emily felt a hand on her shoulder. Constance, her face softened with concern. "Come with me, dear," she said gently. "Let's get Lily somewhere quiet." Emily nodded, guiding Lily through the dispersing crowd to a small lounge inside the estate. Constance handed Lily a glass of water and a soft blanket, kneeling to meet her eyes. "You were so brave out there," she said. "I'm so sorry this happened." Lily managed a small nod, clutching the blanket like a shield. Trevor entered, his tie loosened, his expression a mix of anger and sorrow. He crouched beside Lily, his voice gentle. "You didn't deserve any of this, Lily. You're stronger than they'll ever know." He looked at Emily, his eyes earnest. "I should have seen through Caitlin sooner. I'm sorry you and Lily got caught in this." Emily's throat tightened, but she met his gaze. "You stopped it. That's what matters." She felt a shift within her, a spark of trust, fragile but real. For years, she'd fought her family's disdain alone, but now, someone saw her pain and chose to act. Constance stood, her voice firm but kind. "Emily, Lily, you're welcome to stay the night. Let Lily rest. We'll ensure you're taken care of." Emily hesitated, the idea of lingering in this place unsettling, but Lily's exhausted eyes decided for her. "Thank you," she said softly. As they settled into the lounge, Trevor lingered by the door. "I'm going to make sure Caitlin and Sylvia face the consequences," he said quietly. "Not out of revenge, but because it's right. People need to know what they did." Emily nodded, sensing his determination. She didn't know what form justice would take, but for the first time, she believed it was possible. As Emily tucked Lily into a guest room bed, she found a note slipped under the door, written in Constance's elegant script. "Meet me tomorrow morning. We have evidence of Caitlin's manipulations, texts, emails, plans. You deserve to decide what happens next." Emily's heart raced. This wasn't just about today, it was about exposing years of her family's cruelty, and she held the power to act. The sun rose over Seattle, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold as Emily Brown stood in her modest kitchen, stirring pancake batter. It had been 6 weeks since the catastrophic wedding at the Kingston estate, and life was slowly knitting itself back together. Her 10-year-old daughter, Lily, sat at the table, sketching a vibrant hummingbird, her pencils dancing across the page with a confidence Emily hadn't seen before. The scars of that humiliating day lingered. Lily still woke from occasional nightmares, but her spirit was mending, buoyed by love and a newfound sense of strength. Emily, too, felt different. The fire ignited at the wedding had grown into a quiet, unshakable resolve to reclaim her life. The memory of Trevor Kingston's stand against Caitlin and Sylvia played in Emily's mind like a vivid reel. His decision to end the marriage on the spot, Constance's firm declaration to halt the wedding, and the stunned silence of the guests had marked a turning point. For years, Emily had endured her family's disdain, but that day, someone had seen her pain and acted. Now, back in their cozy suburban home, she was determined to build a future where Lily could thrive, free from the shadows of her past. Lily looked up, her blue eyes bright. "Mom, I got an A on my art project," she announced, holding up a graded sketch of a forest. Emily beamed, setting the batter aside to hug her daughter. "That's amazing, sweetheart. Should we celebrate with extra chocolate chips?" Lily giggled, nodding, and Emily felt a surge of gratitude. These small moments, pancakes, laughter, pride, were the foundation of their healing. The phone rang, its chime no longer a trigger for dread. Emily glanced at the screen. Trevor Kingston. Since the wedding, he'd kept in touch, checking on Lily and offering support. "Emily, it's Trevor." His voice was warm but tinged with purpose. "Is now a good time?" She stepped onto the porch, the autumn air crisp against her skin. "Yes, perfect." "I wanted to update you," Trevor said. Caitlin's actions caught up with her. A guest at the wedding posted a video of her announcement about Lily's performance. It went viral. People were outraged. "She's been let go from her role at our company, and her social circles turned on her." Sylvia is not faring much better. Her charity board asked her to step down after the backlash. Emily exhaled, a mix of relief and solemnity washing over her. She hadn't sought revenge, but the public's judgment felt like justice, lawful, undeniable, and final. "There's more," Trevor continued. "My mother found messages between Caitlin and Sylvia, planning to undermine you for years. We've shared them with a journalist who's writing an exposé on toxic family dynamics. It's anonymous, but it could help others." Emily's heart raced, recalling Constance's note from that night, offering her a choice. She'd agreed to let the truth surface, not for vengeance, but to break the cycle of cruelty. "Thank you, Trevor," she said softly, "for everything." Inspired by the ordeal, Emily had started a blog, Raising Resilience, sharing her journey as a single mother navigating family strife. Her raw, honest posts about standing up to manipulation resonated, drawing thousands of readers. Messages poured in from other parents, thanking her for giving them courage. The blog wasn't just catharsis, it was a lifeline, proof that her voice mattered. A week later, Trevor arrived in Seattle, his casual sweater a far cry from the wedding's formal suit. He carried a gift for Lily, a deluxe art set with vibrant paints and brushes. "I heard you're an artist," he said, grinning as Lily's face lit up. "Maybe you'll paint something for me one day." Lily, less shy now, hugged him, then ran to test her new supplies. Emily and Trevor sat on the porch, sipping coffee, the city skyline faint in the distance. "Caitlin's been calling, begging to reconcile," Trevor said, his tone heavy. "But I'm done. That day showed me who she really is." He paused, meeting Emily's eyes. "And it showed me who you are, Emily. Your strength, the way you fought for Lily, it's rare." Emily blushed, unaccustomed to praise. "I just did what any mother would," she said, but his words warmed her, healing old wounds. Their connection grew quietly. Trevor visited on weekends, teaching Lily to mix colors or joining them for movie nights. His presence wasn't forced, it was natural, like a missing piece clicking into place. Constance and Edward Kingston, too, became unexpected allies, sending Lily art books and treating her like a granddaughter. Their warmth filled a void Emily's own parents had left. The turning point came at Lily's school art show, a winter evening aglow with student creations. Lily's painting, a bold, swirling ocean under a starry sky, was chosen for the top prize. Emily, Trevor, Constance, and Edward sat in the audience, their applause thunderous as Lily stepped on stage, her smile radiant. "I painted this for my mom," Lily said into the microphone, her voice clear. "She's my hero." Emily's eyes welled up, her heart full. After the show, Constance pulled Emily aside, her hand warm on hers. "You and Lily are family to us," she said, her eyes misty. "Blood doesn't matter, love does." Emily nodded, overwhelmed. Later, as Lily slept, Emily and Trevor sat on the couch, the room lit by a single lamp. He took her hand, his touch gentle. "Family's about protecting each other," he said. "You taught me that." Emily squeezed his hand, hope blooming within her. The pain of her past, Sylvia's criticism, Caitlin's betrayal, Nate's abandonment, was fading, replaced by a future she could shape. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving, surrounded by people who saw her worth. The next morning, Emily found a letter in her mailbox, postmarked from Sylvia. It was an apology, halting and awkward, admitting her role in the wedding and years of favoritism. "I've lost everything," Sylvia wrote. "I hope you can forgive me." Emily set the letter down, unsure if she'd respond. Forgiveness would come in time, but for now, she chose herself and Lily, a victory sweeter than any revenge.